For me, the biggest alarm bells are, Sam, that there must be so much money that's being made.
There has
Because
to
why
be
are they squabbling over this so much?
Yeah.
Like they're fighting tooth and nail to be the sole collectors
And rather
of
shamelessly
our
too.
of our
As how-
royalties.
yeah,
That means
it's
that there's a
crazy.
lot of income coming in, by the way.
What's going on? What's up, everyone? What is up? Welcome to episode 80, the big 80 of the 30% podcast. I thought I'll get some claps from my people, but all right. Anyway, at this point, we just the one. Welcome to episode 80 of the 30% podcast. This is the 30% podcast. I am Sam. I am. And I'm here with the greatest of all time, the Fruity Loops connoisseur. Is that how you pronounce that word? The FL ninja, the drum and bass whisperer. His drum and bassness himself, Afam Ifuna. That's underscore Afam Ifuna.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Sorry, bro. I feel like I botched your intro. I am Ardor, is late to the party, ARE is late to the party on social media. Shout out to everyone who's listening to us on your DSPs, Spotify, that's the 30% podcast, YouTube music podcast is what it is now, the 30% podcast, and Apple Music, Apple Podcast, the 30% podcast. We're also on social media, that's the 30% pod on Instagram, on Twitter, on Threads, on LinkedIn. Yeah. That's it. Is there another one? I keep feeling like I forget.
Okay.
I keep feeling like I forget. I don't know why. Is there any other ones? There's Twitter, Threads, Instagram. Man. Anyway, man, listen, go to your Instagram, go to your social media and look up the 30% pod. I assure you we will be there. Yeah. Episode 80. Afam, what's going on?
Nothing much, man. Just chilling. Yeah, it's been hot weather over here in Texas. Yeah, man. But like me personally, I'm doing fine.
Yep.
Just it's the week after we had a release, so just doing post-release activities. Working on a bunch of music and yeah, just the usual.
Is there anything interesting that happens in your life apart from music stuff? Because you're making yourself
not really.
Oh man, that was so sad.
Yeah.
Sending thoughts and prayers to you, bro.
Thanks.
Thoughts and prayers. On the contrary, it's really cold over here. Super cold. Today was ridiculously cold. I hate it. I just want to say.
Yeah, but I
it.
mean, it's June.
It's around
now,
that time.
so
It's a bit early though.
That
seems like it's a bit early for the cold, but yeah.
Nah, the cold is supposed to be hitting in June.
Cold is not supposed to be hitting at all. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm cool too. Had a super interesting week. Was in the studio earlier with I was in the studio earlier with this very, very talented. Yo, I just want to say, if you find, for the producers out there, if you find an artist who sings and off just the demo, they don't need no autotune, they're hitting all the notes, you just be grateful and glad, because those are rare. I was in the studio with Chris Barr is an incredibly talented vocalist. We're getting some stuff done. which I'm excited about. That was cool. I also, am I allowed to talk about this?
Of course.
I also met. First off, let me just say, Afam is Mr. Humble. This guy is so humble. This guy undersold.
Why?
This guy undersold his people to me. I met Afam's pops. I was going to say the original Afam. Afam's pops. And I told them that when you meet people's parents, there's things that you just notice. And I noticed that Afam and his dad have the same gait. It's a weird thing to notice. I just notice how people walk. I guess I'm weird like that, but they have the same sort of gait when they're walking. It's the same
refuse
vibe.
to believe that claim.
Oh, it's true. It's true. Met with his dad, who is a legend in his own right. Afam undersold him to me. I won't put his business out there, but it was a really, really dope, insightful meeting. Very insightful. I learned a lot about life and Afam. It was super cool.
Wait, you learned a lot about me?
Yeah. Of course. Come on. You think I was just going to go there to talk about the weather? I was going to collect some info.
What did you learn?
That was research and development. R&D.
What? Like what?
I'm not giving it to you on the board. No, this is my ammo to use for later. No. No. That's not how this works. No, that's not how this works.
You can't do that.
That's not how this works, bro. Just it will come out.
So you're using it as ammo.
Yes.
Listen, if you guys are listening to this right now, you can see this is
Look
our
at you.
relationship.
You always do that. You always turn to the people when you.
Yes, exactly.
You can't
exactly.
Do that. This guy turned
I
to the
will
people.
weaponize the audience. I'm weaponizing the audience right now.
I already have my information as my weapon, so I don't care. But yeah, no, that was super cool. Shout out to your pops. Very, 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 very inspirational story he has. So
nice.
Yeah, that was dope. What else? Nah, man, I've been exhausted. I've been sleeping a lot more. I don't know what that's about. I'm just tired. Just tired. It's ridiculous. I need to get my energy up. Need to be outside. But yeah. That's that, man. What do we start with? What do we start
okay, so
with?
We are gonna start with some Kenya news. That's big news that we've kind of been following for the past few months, and it has been bubbling under the surface. There's a lot of stuff that has been happening. The tension has been increasing. Just the conversation, the whispers have turned into shouts that are now.
The whispers have turned into shouts.
I wonder how Peter Drury does this, man. It's really not easy to just commentate
on the go-to.
things.
I think he just has a bunch of phrases he's written down that he just be checking. I honestly feel like that. Because
he must.
You can't be a poet to that level like that.
So the big news is that finally, after months of fighting and squabbling, they've decided on one single collective management organization to rule them all. And they are taking on a new name. Listen, you know how when a king is crowned, they take on a name? Yeah, they take on a name. Maybe your name was Joseph, but you decide, no, I'm going to be Edward the First.
And your name isn't even Edward.
Your name isn't even Edward. They have taken on a new name, guys. They are going to be called PAVRISK. What does PAVRISK mean, you ask, Sam? Do you want to know what PAVRISK means?
Let's go. Let's do it. I mean, we're already here.
It means the Performing and Audiovisual Rights Society of Kenya, formerly PRISK. So, as we had reported before, there used to be 3 CMOs in Kenya, namely PRISK, MCSK, and KAMP. MCSK was Drake. PRISK was Mr. Kendrick, and KAMP
the boogeyman.
was Oh my God, we actually got it spot on.
No, did we?
Because KAMP was always J. Cole, right? And we said that, and listen, Kendrick won and PRISK won.
Oh, look at that. This is some spooky stuff. Spooky stuff here at the 30%
I know, we
podcast.
called it.
We are.
But let me just read.
What do you call the people who tell people's futures?
We are fortune tellers.
We are.
So anyway,
we're not fortune tellers.
During a special meeting held on 6th June to deliberate on the licensing of CMOs for the current year, the board awarded a 1-year license to PAVRISK, formerly PRISK, and instructed it to begin royalty collection immediately. However, PAVRISK will not manage publishing and film producer rights for the time being. So the board called on all stakeholders to offer support and ensure a smooth transition, saying the decision was made to cure the wrangles between the CMOs and to make it easy to regulate the affairs of royalty collection and distribution. Now, one of the things that they're kind of like saying is that previously we've had a decentralized kind of system where 3 collective management organizations were, engaging in collecting our royalties. But they are kind of saying that by streamlining it into just one of them, or just like, exactly, just making it just one organization
doing the collection,
that a lot of redundancies will be done away with. So whereas all these people were being employed to essentially just do the same thing or something extremely similar, why not just have one of them do the same thing? And in my opinion, like that on the surface makes sense, Sam. Don't you think so? It does. It makes a little bit of sense.
It makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
It's easy to hold one person accountable than to start running around trying to gather all 3 of them to it's makes sense.
Yeah. And I mean there's an argument here saying that like, okay, like even with all the money that's collected, which by the way is supposed to go to the rights shareholders, aka the artists, and they've been using a large amount of that money to pay the employees of said CMOs
administrative
and everything.
purposes.
Yeah, that's what they like to say. By doing away with all the extra fluff that's not required, then therefore, technically, a lot more money should be saved, and a lot more of that money should be channeled into the right, into the rights shareholders. Technically. But Sam, as all stories that are interesting, there was a spanner in the works.
Oh, so, little twist.
J. Cole was feeling left out, bro. He was kind of like, bruh, like, what about me? And J. Cole is KAMP in this situation.
Went to record Grippy.
And so, he went to record Grippy. So anyway, essentially KAMP are not happy with this and are actually considering taking KECOBO to court over this decision. Because they've said that, naturally, they've said in past... No, they've also said, so Angela Dambuki, who is KAMP's chairperson, said that the process in every way conceivable was outrightly discriminatory and the board has failed to provide reasons for declining KAMP's application. A society that has consistently improved its distribution to its rights shareholders, with the latest at 61% of CMO's income, and passed the overall good governance test. PRISK, on the other hand, has not distributed a cent in the past 2 years and has failed to even hold elections as required of all CMOs. KAMP said that in past forensic audit reports, including its most recent report in 2023, KECOBO had flagged what it termed as embezzlement of rights shareholders' funds by PRISK's management and its management board, and raised similar concerns when PRISK applied to renew its operating license. In a letter dated 13th May 2024, KECOBO questioned PRISK on the status of royalty distribution to its members for 2023. Now, this actually looks legitimate because, like Sam, we've talked about it, and yeah, I think KAMP, according to what we've been reading, have distributed the most when it comes to the 3 CMOs that we have.
Allegedly.
In terms of like when we talk about allegedly, when we talk about like in proportion to what they receive.
Yeah.
Right? Or
Which
what
was
they were collecting in the first
60,
place.
40, I think it was.
Yeah, they submitted 61% to its right shareholders.
Yeah.
61% of what they collected. And 39% was used for administrative purposes, which by the way I still disagree with. But anyway, I think that also, so listen, essentially guys, listen, if you're listening to this podcast right now, we are screwed. Because either way you look at it, we are being finessed. Listen, Sam, there is, because look, like, PRISK don't look very credible right now. They haven't paid anyone for 2 years.
PAVRISK.
And then, PRISK as it was, because PAVRISK hasn't even had time to do anything, right?
Oh, okay.
So now, essentially what's happened is, KAMP is claiming that PRISK, who are the crooks in their story, have made friends with
Bickering
the people at KECOBO and they're now in cahoots. They're now in cahoots to embezzle even more funds because now the pot has significantly gone up.
It's theirs
because
now.
There's
they own the pot.
One player.
It was shipped to the house.
They won.
Yeah.
They won. Yeah. So essentially that's messed up because it means that we're essentially like in a situation where we, like, how do they give the keys to the city to the least credible of them of the 3?
The bum on the street.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You give
essentially that's what
ridiculous.
They did. That's essentially what they did. They give it to the least credible one. So essentially now,
No, I'm saying before you continue, I do understand they have a little bit of proof and backing. But I don't know if I'm 100% believing KAMP's little tirade here.
Claims.
I don't know.
Because they could also be just trying to like...
Because look at it. If MCSK won, with KAMP also have brought up the same story. Anyone else who had won...
No, but they would try and they'd probably try and find a different angle.
Yeah, so this is an every man for himself type thing, which is scary because the artists are the ones who are going to suffer. But
for me, the biggest alarm bells are, Sam, that there must be so much money that's being made. Because why are they squabbling over this so much?
Yeah.
Like they're fighting tooth and nail to be the sole collectors
and rather shamelessly
of our royalties. That means that there's a lot of income coming in, by the way.
We've seen some of those numbers too. We've seen some of the numbers of the revenue that could be gotten from the music. So it's quite a bit. It's quite a lot actually.
It's actually quite scary. These guys are fighting over our hard-earned money, and now it's gone to the worst of them all. This is like when Professor Umbridge became the...
Professor who now?
Does any of you watch Harry Potter?
When you say there's any of you, you're saying me because you're talking to me. Are you talking to the fans?
Anyway. I was talking to the fans. Anyway, if there's anybody out there who
I'm
knows
I'm pretty sure we have
Umbridge,
some crossover between the 30% and Harry Potter.
This is what's happening right now, man. Like these are testing times. This is like book 7 when after Dumbledore died and now the school was in disarray. Anyway, if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know. Like, because who knows? PRISK could be the bad guys after all. KAMP could actually be saying the truth, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're also just power hungry and money hungry and want it all for themselves. That's the thing, Sam. We don't know. Either way we look, the artist is losing. Yeah. The artist loses.
Are the ones who are going to lose on this. Every time these guys come out to talk, it just leaves us with more questions. It's just like what's going on? Now we have someone selected, and then we have a CMO selected, and everybody now is not everybody, but KAMP. I don't know what MCSK is doing. Maybe they're planning their own.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I honestly don't know what needs
it's ridiculous.
to be done.
It's ridiculous.
All I know,
It's craziness.
all I know is a significant amount of money must be be in consideration, because they wouldn't be fighting so seriously. You think they're fighting over this for the sake of the artist?
Yeah, so that they can
This is
what do you call it? Distribute with integrity and just all fairness.
no way.
Bro. Nope.
No,
that
they're
39%
doing-
is a lot of money for somebody. Is a lot of money for someone. And that's how it is.
And like we said, and like we even said before, that 39% is 39% of a figure that they probably just drew up. That 39%, like the 100% that they're working on, could even be 50% of what's actually been collected. So the 39% could be 39% of 50%, which means we're essentially earning like. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I understand.
Like
yeah.
we could have been lied to, or rather, the artist could be making 60% over 50%
that's my
of
whole
what's
thing.
Actually being collected.
That is
we just don't know.
Yeah, that's my whole thing. When we're asking when they asked the MCSK chairman about his numbers and what those numbers are, and he said that he's not going to. He's not at liberty to share those numbers, and he was still giving us the percentages. Like, we don't know. We are believing what they tell us.
Bro,
like, the artists we have no power and no accountability.
It's the easiest con if you think about it. Sam, it's the easiest con if you think about it. Like, you get 100% of something as the collector, right? And then you just say, you know what we'll do? Let's give them 70% and make them think that's 100%. We keep the 30%. And then even of that 70%,
we're going to take 30%.
Let's say we're going to give...
Bro, that's evil.
Yeah, we're
that is greed.
And so now we are all up in arms. And then now when they say, you know what? Okay, fine. That 39% we were taking for administrative purposes might have been too much.
Yeah, okay.
Let's only take 20%
we're going
and give you all 80%.
Exactly.
Then now, us, we are happy now. But listen, we're getting 80% of 70%.
It's such a con.
This isn't making sense.
Con of all
So now
cons.
we are happy. We're happily being finessed now, because now you think, oh yeah, we fought
supporting
for our rights.
them in the finesse.
They're still stealing. They're still stealing because they haven't told you, they haven't disclosed how much they're actually collecting.
We are supporting the finesse is what we are doing.
And that's horrible. Man. That's horrible,
it's
because
evil,
now
bro.
we can't even trust anything, because they have set a precedent of us just like not knowing what's real. I challenge
these guys to actually put out the numbers. Hey, give us a document. You know how like people companies audit themselves and put out stuff.
I still won't believe it. We need like a fully independent company that's not even like from Kenya, who has no like allegiance to anybody to do the said.
But that's the
audit.
problem, though.
Is
they
that
have
possible?
no allegiance. They have no allegiance to anyone. They're going to be spending money doing all of this, so they have to have some sort of, or someone probably from this side has to trigger that and say, hey, I have enough power, come and do this. We need to audit because we care about the artists and everything. But until that is done, all of the MCSK is going to come out with their own issues now, and then they're going to. I'm tired of talking about it. I mean, we have to report about it because it's important. But in all honesty, man, I'm just at this point. You guys have it, man. We are going to fight it to the death, though.
They are. But like, oh wait, you said we are.
Let me change that. We should. Artists should. We should stop just sitting around. Like we need to.
Yeah, we should.
We need to start making noise. Make some noise about these things.
Because these guys think we're dumb.
Yeah, a lot of it, I think, also because I think a lot of it is artists don't necessarily know the ins and outs of how this stuff works, and so it's better to. It's very surface information on what they should know. In terms of just like music business education, right? So again, this is just it's a PSA out to all artists just to go and learn about all this stuff so that you know exactly. Like once I promise you, once you learn a little bit about music business and you see how these guys have been conducting themselves, you might be up in arms too. It's ridiculous. But yeah,
but the music business is so complex, bruh. Learning, even me, like it's so confusing, man. I feel like there's just so many
It's
different
confusing on
ways
purpose.
to be
Yep.
finessed in the
It's
music.
confusing on purpose, I think.
Because it just opens up so many avenues to like, the less concrete it is, the easier like it is to just like
Yep.
kind of find loopholes and ways to like finesse the artist.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Y'all need to stop. CMOs, you guys need to stop. This whole thing you guys are doing, you guys have to stop. You just have to.
We see through it.
Yeah, we see through
it. What else? Unless you had anything else to add, what else was happening in the news, Sam?
Cool. So let's do some quick thoughts. I have a question.
Easy, let's go.
I have a question. So
let's go.
We know that as an artist, for an artist to blow up, and of course we can talk about it in the Kenyan, with what you've seen, like with Kenyan artists, because you've worked with a lot of Kenyan artists behind the scenes, right? For an artist to blow up, there's a lot of investment, right? There's a lot of investments. Yes. Okay, again, I don't want to keep mentioning them, but we've talked about like guys in Nigeria and also in the West, and we see that there's a lot of money that goes into an artist before they're able to blow up. Now, here locally in Kenya, from what you've seen from artists and people who've put their music out and sort of have like a sort of career, do you think the investment is worth the spend? Like, do you think we're getting, and we're not mentioning any artist names, but do you think we're getting our money's worth in terms of what artists are putting in or should be putting in, rather, and what we get in terms of the music? And by music, I mean the full package: albums, art, collaboration, shows, and all that business. I don't know if you understand.
Yes.
Understand what I'm saying?
Okay, I get it. The answer is no.
Yep. Oh, okay. Well, quick thoughts.
and I guess quick thoughts. And I guess the reason I would say no is I feel like that's kind of the reason why a lot of people are iffy when it comes to investing in the music industry
locally.
Otherwise, we would have a lot of like investors, and would be able to pitch like so many different artists to so many different people who've made their money in different like fields. But a lot of people, whenever you talk to them, they always feel like iffy whenever it's like, oh, the music industry, I don't know, like, it's, will I really get my return on investment?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that the artist's fault? No, it's not. It's just because of a lot of the systems that we have in place that are not necessarily up to par with what the wider music industry expects from them. I mean, we've just come from talking about the whole thing with our CMOs and them being unable to collect royalties in a satisfactory manner. The reason I say this is, yes, you will invest 10 million Kenya shillings into an album, right? And now when you look at the streams of income from music, right, a lot of them are reliant on the back end, whether it's royalties from the master or whether it's royalties from the publishing, right? That a lot of it is reliant on that. In Kenya, unfortunately, those two avenues are trashed because of the inability of our CMOs to collect money, right? And then the other avenues that you're gonna get paid from via music is through shows. And here, the artist is gonna look to earn most of that because that's generally how it works. Aside from the artists who, I mean, we've seen John Bellion, he just had the whole interview and he had like a whole deal specifically for touring with Live Nation, right?
Yeah.
But like generally, like artists see most of their income from doing shows. Now, if now the investor looks at this, they're gonna have to like devolve into like taking a lion's share of the artist's performance money, which is so detrimental to the artists themselves, right? How else do artists make revenue from their music? I mean, well, we said it through sync opportunities as well. The problem with sync opportunities is those come far and few in between. Like unless you have a publisher,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you don't have a channel,
Yeah.
like a channel that does that specifically,
you have to
it'll
have
be
a
difficult.
channel.
Yeah.
You have to have a connection. You have to have somebody who gets those opportunities on a regular basis.
Yep.
Like who works frequently with the ad agencies, for example, or just like the media outlets that use music, in their output.
Yeah.
So as an investor, unfortunately, you're gonna look at all these things, especially in Kenya, and be like,
Yeah.
damn, I don't know if I'm gonna make a return on this investment. And it's really, really not the artist's fault, because on paper, it is supposed to make sense. It does make sense how you can make money off of the music. It makes sense. It genuinely does. But really, we're just
music
kind
is
of like
music is a
artists are
good
only
business. It's a profitable business.
It is.
Very.
It is. It's a very profitable business. But in Kenya, we're only pigeonholed to getting paid off of doing shows. Also, that involves doing corporate shows.
Yeah.
But the problem with corporate shows as well, that's an avenue that's only reserved, or it's very gate kept. What's the past tense of gatekeep?
Gate.
Like there's a lot of gatekeeping that's involved with that, right?
Yeah.
Because think about it, like the people who get those shows, I mean, they always tend to be the mainstay acts. Or what do you call them? The
ones with the
older acts.
Yeah.
What do you call them?
The OGs, the ones with the more connections.
Yeah,
the ones who've been around for a minute.
the OGs who have had a long time to, and then also the people who give you avenues to do corporate acts are older, because they're in the business, and they just tend to be an older demographic.
Yeah.
And the music, they're like, oh, who do we book for our corporate show for Bank X, right? Maybe Bank X is having a party at the end of the year.
Yeah.
These people, they only know DJ Pinye, and they only know Nameless, or like, somebody
Soul and
older. They only know those names. So as an upcoming artist, like, it's gonna be very difficult to secure corporate gigs. Yes. Now, this sounds like an ad to not get into the music industry, because it's like, wow, I've just kind of listed all the reasons.
It's an anti-ad.
Yeah, it's an anti-ad.
Wait,
but like,
before you get into that, based off your answer though, so do you think like an artist sitting in their bedroom talking about, I want to do music, do you think they should still pour in, fund their creativity, fund the music, fund whatever they're doing? Like, do you think they should, mentioning that, knowing that here, like, we don't necessarily have that much of a return on investment if it's not linked to a big big corporation, a big investment or anything? Do you think an artist should still do that? Do you think it's worth it?
Definitely, because the way I was looking at it was via, like, if it's somebody outside who's looking to invest in said artist.
Yeah.
But if you're just investing in yourself, definitely, because now I think as an artist, now what you need to do is figure out innovative ways to monetize your music that don't necessarily rely on our structures put in place. And that's really the only way to really monetize. And I don't know, like, you can be successful in that way, I guess, but like, it's also gonna be a struggle.
It's an uphill climb.
You have to get to
because
you have to get to a certain level where you'll be able to, like, throw your own shows and really monetize in that sense. But other than that, if it's just you, then you can really just, like, put yourself out there and try and secure as many shows as you can.
Yeah.
Like, because that's really the only way you're gonna, like, see, like, income, like, on a very consistent basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
makes sense. So it's still worth it though. It's still worth putting in. It's just
it's worth it.
A harder grind, but it's still worth putting in. And it's important to, I would say, right? It's important, just to round this off. It's important to invest in in art, because you can tell when someone hasn't really, it doesn't seem like they've put in a lot of, either it could be money, could be thought, could be whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
The people who are looking, let me say it, the people who are looking can tell when maybe there hasn't been, so it's really important to invest in your own art, however that is. Yeah, man, that was a rather lengthy quick thought.
It is, and it is a lengthy quick thought.
No, it's fine though.
Huh?
No, you're saying something, sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, I don't know, but yes, I know that was a very pessimistic point of view from myself. But things are looking up. I believe there's people out here trying to also make solutions to these problems, and hopefully artists will get a fair shake at this industry and be able to survive.
that's the prayer,
and hopefully we'll see an equal amount of return from what was invested in the first place, because it's disappointing when you invest 50,000 or you invest bro, I know people who invest 200,000 Kenya shillings to do a video, right? And then even when you look at how much YouTube pays out from the CPMs, and the CPMs are really low in our sector because of ads and stuff like that.
Fun.
It's so demoralizing. So, and then so maybe it's also it's also branding. Also position yourself in a way that you can really attract a lot of these brands. And one of the best examples of this is Chris Kaiga. Make sure if you're doing he only moves when there's a brand supporting him. That's the only time
someone can say anything. That's a purist will say they're not really rocking with that style of things.
But he's trying to make a living, bro. The only time we see him doing something is if one of these big liquor companies is paying for it, this type of shit. But what are you supposed to do, man? What are you supposed to do when you exist in an industry that won't pay you off of your music? You have to get creative. You do.
You either get really creative or get another job.
Or get another
Those are your options.
Right? Anyway, I don't know. Quick thoughts.
No, definitely.
Sam,
definitely.
So basically, I wanted to, give a rest in peace to Mary Jambi Koikai, man. So, a lot of people, just knew her as a media personality and everything. Really big in the reggae spaces. She struggled with endometriosis, and it's really sad that she passed away, and I know a lot of people are hurting off of this, and I don't know why, but it seems for some reason in this past few months, a lot of the music industry has been losing a lot of people. And it's a bit scary. It's a bit sad.
Yeah, and
a bit sad. It's very sad.
Yeah, it's really sad. How do you break? Or rather, I don't even know how to put it. How do you philosophize losing a lot of people? Because even in the past 2 weeks, we also lost a very well-known and very talented, I would say, guitar player. Bass guitar Eddie Ogaga. We also lost a keyboardist, Shadi, also, and I mean, just looking at the support from everyone, he's very talented. I was in the studio once with him. He's really good, and he's beloved by so many in the industry. It's just that's what I'm saying. How do you talk about it? It's just sad.
And also, bro, even Telu, I wasn't really familiar with his work. Well, I didn't know of him when I saw the news. But then I went to his page and I looked at his post and I realized I had liked so many things there. And I was like, wait, I had in some way interacted with his work, even if I didn't really know him like that. And it's just crazy, we're losing all these people, man.
Prayers.
Just wanted to give
prayers to their families.
Send prayers to their families, to their friends, and just to everybody who was impacted by their work. It will not be forgotten. yeah, man. It's yeah. I don't know. It's it's always hard dealing with loss
And watching
everything.
the ripple
And
effects, watching the people go through it, friends and families of
yeah,
them. But anyways, listen, keep praying for them. Actually, pray for them. Don't just send prayers.
yeah,
Pray for them.
yeah.
Hoping that they can come to a place of peace and acceptance, and support in whatever way you can too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. We might. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're about to say we might. I was like, it's such a somber note. I don't know how to.
No, like I was like saying, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. There's no easy way to like
I
now
don't know how to
transition
move
like
out of
from
that.
in our usual
Yeah.
podcast, but like yeah. So usually I guess we go to new music. So yeah, man. So so basically I didn't listen to that much this week. Shout out to Andia Sande and Mr. K. So Andia Sande released a song, Where Did You Go? I don't know who produced this, but I know it was mixed and mastered by FK Beats. Shout out to Andia Sande. She's also one of these artists who are like really like bubbling up and starting to release music. So y'all should check out Where Did You Go? Bien released the remix to Ma Chérie or Ma Chérie with Fali Ipupa, man. Listen, we talked about Bien kind of saying he doesn't really care about the whole international artist
This is moving
debate.
like the
Here
opposite.
he is doing international artist things.
A week later.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Listen, but we said it. We said like we know Bien wants like he's doing everything in his power to be an international act, and we can see him do that. I actually really enjoyed Fali Pupa's like addition onto that song. So shout out to them for that. Fena released Mali Safi. I genuinely really like that one. So shout out to Fena. She's been releasing a lot of late, so I can see she's really putting the pedal to the metal. Shout out to my girl TG Black. She released Can't Stand It. I love the artwork. And the beats, man, so smooth, man. When I listen to that song, it gives me the color white and blue. And I don't know why I felt that was necessary to say, but like it's genuinely how I felt.
Art is subjective and you subjected, so that's good.
It is. And bro, TG has been releasing a lot of music at a high frequency, so shout out to her, man. Yeah, and maybe I could also shout out. I want to shout out King Kirby. He released a song at the peak. King Kirby, as always, is just putting his foot on the music industry's neck. Like he's been releasing at a very, very high rate, and he doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon. So shout out to King Kirby, and then I want to shout out. Bro. We've talked about these guys so many times, Sam. But Killy Hippie, Boy Black, they never miss. They never miss. At this point,
very consistent,
bro, like the old. I'm gonna start calling them the old reliable. They're always reliable. Like they always release music and it's always
the
fire
new
every
reliable.
time. Yeah. So shout out to Killy Hippie and Boy Black and 2E, I believe. So shout out to them. Sam, what did you listen to?
I'm just gonna put a couple of projects that I thought were really, really cool. There's a kid called, I don't know if it's a kid. It's called It's Just Brand with Noel Grass. He released an EP, a 6-song EP called From Migori with Love. I genuinely enjoyed it. He has a very smooth voice. The production was very country-ish. Very country-ish.
Yeah.
It's almost like East African renditions of country songs. I don't know whether he did that on purpose or maybe I'm just being subjective. I'm reaching, but it was really cool. I super enjoyed that. Definitely, and he's a fairly new. He's new to me, so I'm definitely looking forward to listening to that. We've talked about him recently. Papa. We played Conversation a couple of pods back. He released the album called Rafiki. Album is called Rafiki. There is 8 songs on there. Papa is an incredible musician, man. The production is great. The engineering is great. We never really highlight engineering, but when an engineering works, it makes the music experience a lot better. Yeah, so shout out to him. Project is really good. Flyer released Abiria 57. We all know and love what Flyer is doing out there. Yeah, I mean, a lot of more music was released. We got releases from Reezy, Louis KE. We got releases from Manolo KE on some gospel thing. And yeah, many more. Moja Sounds still stay releasing music. Yeah, man. Idaziz dropped a couple of songs. That whole Ness Mburu.
Idaziz is also old reliable. Idaziz is gonna be releasing.
Yeah. Ness Mburu also dropped with that. That whole nice. there's that corner of EDM Afro
Ness
house.
Mburu, Sofian Zhao.
Yeah.
Idaziz.
Holding it down for the Afro house.
They're the pillars.
Yeah. And that. And I think I guess if you want to introduce it, you can. But our pick of the week is along those lanes. It is because I listened to this song, Sam, and I was just like, bro, Mūndūmūka by Ardor, Gumz, and I don't know how to pronounce this name. I feel like the KG is a click. I think it should be Gumz.
I don't know if I'm
Kgzoo.
No, Gumz, yes, but the Kgzoo.
Yeah, it's just
maybe that's how. Oh, you know what? Maybe what I've said is offensive. I don't know, but like. They're both from South Africa. Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
There you go. Here you go. Alienating yet another.
No, but we're giving them praise. Like, I think the production was amazing. The thing about this song, that stood out to me is percussion and vocals. Like, it was a masterclass of both of those two things.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ardor, man. Like, I listened to that song and I was literally levitating, Sam.
Literally?
I levitated a few inches.
Wow. How many?
For real.
How many?
Like 7.
7. 7 is like low level levitation.
Man. Bro, still though, it did something, man. So we wanna what the fuck are we talking about, Sam? Anyway, shout out to Ardor, Gumz, and Kgzoo. I hope I've pronounced your name properly. They released an amazing song called Mūndūmūka, which you guys need to listen to, and you will listen to it now because, Sam, if you would allow me, I'd love to play Mūndūmūka by Ardor, Gumz, and Kgzoo. That was Mūndūmūka by Tina, Ardor, Gumz, and Kgzoo. Fire emojis in the chat. Put the fire emojis
in the chat.
Put them.
Oh, they're there already. Steps ahead of you. They're already there. Come on.
For real.
Yeah, already.
Fire. So shout out to Tina and yo, I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
That was episode 80, man. Yo, we are in the 80s already, man. Bro, I don't even know, man. I don't even know how we got here, but we got here. And it's been an amazing
blood,
journey,
sweat, and a lot of hard works and plenty recording.
Oh, plenty recording. Hours and many GBs of information.
It's actually, yeah, listen, no one talks about it, but anyway, it's part of the game. But fam, it's a lot of space being taken up by audios. Anyway.
A lot of second guessing, a lot of pre-production, a lot of podcasts where we, generally didn't know what to say, but came up with something to say.
No, you're not supposed to tell the people that, hey, we always know. We always know.
I'm not telling them which ones. I'm just telling them
Go hunting. Hey, listen from episode 1 till now and try and figure out which ones. Yeah. But like always, shout out to you guys for keeping with us, man. Yeah. We really, really appreciate you all for sticking with the podcast and just sticking with us on this podcasting journey, man. We do it for y'all. We do it for the Kenyan music industry. And I just want to sign off for me personally with my 3 C's, which I've been pushing, which always begin with confidence, man. Like, listen, I know you guys are in the music industry or even whatever industry you are in. I need you guys to be confident with your work. Because like people feed off of your confidence, right? If you're confident in your stuff, other people will like it just as a factor of you being confident about it. I need you to be consistent. You need to be consistent, man. Every day you're doing something that's making sense or that's adding to your overall dream. You have to be consistent, because if you're not, we live in a time where everybody is doing the same thing and you will be easily forgotten. And lastly, craft. Always work on your craft every day. Try and like improve it in some way, shape, or form. Even the smallest improvement is improvement. And yeah. Sam? That has been episode 80.
Yeah. That has been episode 80.
We're out.
Yeah, man. We'll see you guys on episode 81. Goodbye.
Goodbye.